I give it a year. If it goes beyond a year, it will be 2 years, because after the ANC conference, it will collapse. Remember, the DA said we are prepared to work with the ANC of Cyril Ramaphosa. So the ANC conference is going to remove Cyril Ramaphosa, whether he likes it or not. It's his second term. He's not coming back. So the most likelihood, if they survive a year, after the ANC conference, they will not succeed, because like province of Gauteng, look at it. It has completely rejected the DA and went on to constitute government without the DA. And we're going to make sure that that government of Gauteng works. We're going to support it, because not to support the government of Gauteng is to support the DA. So if the Gauteng government fails, then the doomsayers are going to say, you see, if you don't work with the DA, you are going to fail. So we're not in an alliance with them. We're not voting for them for anything. We're going to vote for their budget, for whatever is required from us in order to defeat the DA and demonstrate to the national leadership that you could have done the same. You don't need the DA for you to survive with the numbers you have. As long as you put progressive proposals on the table, you can still govern without having 50+1, because no one won elections. No one said we must work together. The story that the electorate said we must work together, it's a fiction. Someone just created it. They did not vote for anyone. So if no one is voted for, it means from time to time we must consult one another and get consensus from amongst the parties that are voted into power. The ANC missed that opportunity and went into bed with murderers who are still to account for the killings of our people. When we negotiated with the ANC, we never said we will not bring Phalaphala. Remember, in a year, 5 years before, when we went, the condition was that the president must be removed. So we said, we are not coming with that condition. Let's deal with issues. Because we knew, after we have agreed, along the other progressive forces, the issue of the president is going to come. It doesn't have to be a deal breaker. Because if we had used it as a deal breaker, the ANC will be saying we did not negotiate with them because they came with a deal breaker and we could not budge from that level. We said, okay, let's leave that. Even land expropriation and all of that, let's leave them. Let's talk about what are the immediate interests for our people. Let's even leave positions for that matter to look at what can be discussed and agreed upon in the immediate to liberate the poor of the poorest. Still, that got rejected. And then they went back to the meeting of the ANC and said EFF insulted them and all of that as a way of trying to persuade the NEC not to look at the EFF direction. So Cyril has never been a condition in exchange for ministerial positions. We never said that. We've always emphasized that the interest of our people should come first, and the rest of the other issues will deal with them. That's why we, even before the election of the president, we presented Phalaphala to the speaker immediately after she got elected, so that those who are voting for that president, they should know that there is this dark cloud hanging over the head of that president. I think those are the issues that I will respond to, DP.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you, CIC. There are a couple of other questions that are remaining. Somebody asked about the possibility of the president holding a referendum on the issue of land. Right. My understanding, there is an act of parliament, it's called the Referendum Act. I can't remember the exact act, in terms of which the initiative to have a referendum is taken by the president. But the referendum, remember, is binding. It has binding consequences, unlike a plebiscite. So there is no way he will go down that route, we know, because he knows what the answer is. I would like to take you back to 2017. In 2017, there was a public participation exercise. People overwhelmingly voted in favor of expropriation of land without compensation. That was the outcome of that public participation exercise. We know that because it was raised about 3 weeks ago by one of the comrades from EFF, it was Comrade Mkweli, who asked what happened to that report, which was filed in 2017, in terms of which the public voted overwhelmingly in favor of expropriation of property without compensation. The answer was shocking. This was the answer from one of the ANC parliamentarians. The answer was, we are the lawmakers who are not bound by what the public wants. That was the answer given to us during the orientation 3 weeks ago by an MP of the ANC. That to us made it abundantly clear that the issue of land is not on their agenda. So we know out there, remember we're representing 70% of the electorate, right? We may be just 102 seats in parliament, but our people who voted for us, we have 70% waiting outside, and we are here to execute their mandate, and we are convinced we are going to grow as a force. The other question related to GNU, whether or not, I think CIC has dealt with it, whether or not it's going to last. The GNU lacks political legitimacy. If you lack legitimacy, what happened to apartheid? It was around for years, but it collapsed. Obviously, GNU is not going to be around for a very long time. Indeed, I would associate myself with the remarks made by CIC. It would be miraculous if they would survive longer than a year. Their policies are diametrically opposed, especially ANC and Democratic Alliance, when it comes to policies relating to the poor people. We all know, for example, the ANC has introduced a number of social grants and also the issues of minimum wage, and the DA is vehemently opposed to that. So we know they will not last. That marriage is not going to last. The other question related to, CIC has dealt with it, related to organizations that were progressive once upon a time, which are now part of the government of national unity, like the PAC, right? We are going to, they are not here for obvious reasons, because they are part of the government of national unity, and we are very clear in our view. Anyone who is part of the government of national unity is contaminated. That is a fact. They are contaminated. But obviously we will engage them. We're not going to throw the baby with the bathwater. They are contaminated, but should circumstances permit, we will continue to engage them as and when it is necessary. But for now, they are part of the government of national unity. There is an excitement about the Blue Lights Brigade. Mm-hmm. Let them enjoy the blue lights for now. Thank you. I think DP and Pastor.
Can we then take the last round of hands to ask questions and then get the responses, and we'll then close the press conference. Number one is the person wearing a green jacket. I think that is the only description we can give. Number two.
Start with the call.
Number three.
They were going to start with the call.
Number one.